have a lot of amnesia. And so what it's like, I think people demonize D.I.D in part because the amnesia, and they're like, what would I be doing that I didn't know that I did? You want to know what we did that we didn't know that we did? Okay, so we're blendy this morning, heavy on some little, but there's definitely other, like, we're blendy, just being the more forward part of the blend is low. And so naturally I was complaining about our food options because we have dietary restrictions, and we basically have like a fruit smoothie every morning with some like peanut butter or nut butter thrown in for protein, and it's boring. And so I was having a food crisis because I'm really hungry, and opened our freezer because like there would be anything in there. But there was, because whoever went shopping yesterday bought gluten-free bagels, which are still a little bit of a cheat for our dietary restrictions, but only a little bit. And as I was exalting this, like, oh my gosh, I get bagels, I opened the fridge and there's cashew cream cheese, because I can't really have dairy either. Like, they bought cashew cream cheese, and I had no memory of either of these purchases. I was going to get butter, which we can have butter and like hard fermented cheese, but not like milk or salt. Anyway, it's dumb, but it is what it is. And so this is what we did, because the truth of the matter is, within D.I.D, it's not like you're a whole, like, I don't even know how to say this, because people are like afraid they're going to turn into somebody that would do something diametrically opposed. Now, in some cases, like Anthony would go out and wear stuff that Jen was diametrically opposed to. Yes, but it doesn't change the core trait of humanity that we all share. We're not going to just turn into a monster. We're all kind, and that doesn't change because we have amnesia as to who was out. Who was out not only was still kind, but was also tired of our breakfast options, which goes into the theory of structural dissociation, where we are all parts of a whole that, well, not necessarily a whole, we're all parts that didn't come together into a whole like neurotypical people do. But that means, for a neurotypical person, like if you had amnesia for what you did for an hour, it would still be what you would do. And it's frightening because you don't have control and you don't remember what happened. But that doesn't mean you're going to do something out of the ordinary. It means that you have the possibility to delight yourself when you did something and you didn't remember it, and the next day when you're having a food crisis, there's food that you want to eat. But that's the truth of it. That's where media gets wrong, because I don't suddenly turn into a monster when I switch into another alter, like, because we're all cut from the same cloth. We just didn't get sewn together like everybody else gets sewn together. Our brain didn't do the needlework, but it's still the same quilt pieces. I feel like this has gone off the rails a little, and I know that some people disagree, and that's okay. We can disagree in the community, but the truth of the matter is, whether I have amnesia or not, there's no part of me that's going to do something awful, because even our most traumatized parts don't want to hurt other people. So I can have amnesia with them and not worry that I'm going to do something terrible while they're out. And a lot of systems are afraid. They're afraid of the parts that they they have amnesia with, for that very reason, for the same reason that media portrays us like monsters, because, well, what if you don't know them? And that's where communication comes in. That's where getting to know each other comes in, because you get to know the alters, and then you can trust them, and you can trust that when they're out, it'll be fine. And I think everybody needs to do that work. Even singlets need to do shadow work, where they learn about the parts of themselves that they would prefer not exist. But denying their existence doesn't make them not exist. It just makes that person unaware that they're there. We've all dealt with that person that will rail against somebody for the thing that they themselves do. And that's because they haven't done shadow work, so they're blind to that aspect of themselves. So even neurotypical people have that. Everybody needs to get to know the parts of themselves. It's just a little bit more scary when those parts can take over. Doesn't mean that they're going to do anything other than buy you yummy things.